ओम सूर्याय नमः सूर्याय नमः सूर्याय नमः सूर्याय नमः ओम सूर्याय नमः ओम सूर्याय नमः ओम सूर्याय नमः।
आज मैं डॉक्टर के पास गई थी चेकअप करवाने। डॉक्टर ने बताया लड़की है।
गिरवा दे।
भ्रूण हत्या, शिशु हत्या, स्त्री हत्या, गौ हत्या, ब्रह्म हत्या। These are the Panch Mahapathakas, or the 5 cardinal sins written in the Vedas as far back as the 3000 BC. And yet the Atharva Veda also says the birth of a daughter granted elsewhere, here grant a son. A sentiment that is rampant even today in the 21st century. A sentiment that finds extreme manifestation in female feticide. There is a gross gender bias against the girl child. Anjahi, that is the name given to many a girl child. The reasons for this are many. Who will light our funeral pyre if we do not have a son? Without a son, how will our family name be carried forward? Who will look after us in our old age? How will we give dowry for our daughter?
बेटे होते हैं वो किस लिए होते हैं? अपने परिवार के लिए होते हैं। जन्म कैसे देते हैं? अपने परिवार के लिए होते हैं। भी बेटे होएंगे, काम आएंगे, माँ बापों को काम आएंगे, सेवा पानी करेंगे। बेटियां तो अपनी घर घर चली जाती है। हंस तो बेटे से ही बचता है, अपना परिवार बेटे से बचता है। परिवार बगैर कुछ भी नहीं है, बेटे बगैर भी कुछ भी नहीं है। कैसा ही बेटा हो, बेटा बेटा ही होता है।
The only question that they do not raise is, who will give birth to our sons' children if there are no women? The result of this thought process, selective abortion. The consequence, between 35 and 40 million girls and women missing from the Indian population. The sex ratio of girls to boys dropped to less than 800 to 1000 in some parts of the country. According to a UNICEF report, up to 50 million girls are missing from the Indian population, murdered before they even had a chance to breathe. Aiding and abetting in this crime is modern medical technology. Spend 500 rupees now and save 50,000 rupees later. So runs the advertisement of unscrupulous diagnostic centers with ultrasound scanners. Prenatal sex determination is a booming business. Unfortunately, this trend is rampant not just in small towns but also allegedly metropolitan cities like Delhi and Mumbai.
Sad but true that this sex determination is still so prevalent in our country, even cities like Delhi. And we are not even talking about B-grade cities here where it's rampant, but it's so much prevalent even in cities like Delhi. And the reason obviously amounts to the pressures from society. Basically, so many times the woman who comes to us for a termination because she's carrying a female fetus, it's not so much because she wants it, it's a lot to do with what her husband / mother-in-law / some family member is looking for a male child. So many times we have patients who undergo a lot of trauma in getting this done. but they have to do it because of the society pressures.
The implications of this heinous crime are many. Women who are forced to undergo abortion by their husbands, their in-laws, suffer from great psychological trauma, from which it becomes difficult for them to emerge.
10 साल पहले जी मेरे को गुड़िया थी, ससुराल वाले ने मतलब उन्होंने मेरे को बड़ा जोर लाया भी इसको अपना अबॉर्शन कराओ, तो फिर मजबूरी वास्ते मैंने कराना पिया। फिर अपने उसको उन्होंने साथ छोड़ दिया जी, साथ छोड़ के अपने दुकान पाली छोटी जी, दुकान पे आप गुजारा कर रहे हैं बहुत सोना, उसके नाल नाल आप जुत्तियों का भी काम करते हैं।
Another disturbing implication of the drop in the gender ratio is the increase in violence against women, child abuse and wife sharing. With fewer number of women, this is inevitable. Polyandry, several men, often brothers, sharing the same wife, is also being practiced in some areas.
मैं बंगाल की रहने वाली हूँ और घर में सबसे बड़ी हूँ। छोटे छोटे मेरे बहन भाई हैं और मेरी शादी होके हरियाणा में आई है और पैसों की दिक्कत की वजह से वहाँ पर एक आदमी के साथ से हो क्या यहाँ देखा, यहाँ चार के साथ 4 भाइयों की बीवी बन के मैं रह रही हूँ। अब पैसा मेरे पास इतना भी नहीं है यहाँ से हरियाणा से मैं बंगाल जा सकूँ। अब क्या करूँ, इनके साथ ही मुझे रहना पड़ रहा है, मुझे अच्छा नहीं लगता।
The very fabric of the society that has been built through the ages is being torn apart by the misplaced wish to have a son.
जब मेरे घर वालों ने कहा कि डॉक्टर पास जाओ, चेक कराओ, ये लड़की है। जब मैं डॉक्टर पास गई तो डॉक्टर ने मुझे ये बताया कि लड़की है। जब मैं घर लौटी मेरे पति को मैंने बताया कि लड़की है, तो उन्होंने मुझे कहा कि मुझे लड़की नहीं चाहिए, मुझे लड़का चाहिए और बच्चा करा दो। और सभी फैमिली मुझे ये मजबूर करी बच्चे कराने के लिए और मुझे समझ में नहीं आ रहा मैं क्या करूँ, मैं बहुत परेशान हूँ।
मैं रहने वाली यूपी के हूँ, हरियाणा में मेरी शादी हुई है। 5 साल हो गया मेरी शादी को। मेरे पेट में बच्चा था। मेरे सास ससुर को पता चला, डॉक्टर के पास ले गए। डॉक्टर ने बताया इसके पेट में लड़की है। उन्होंने मुझे सफाई करने का कहा। मैंने अपनी आदमी से बोला, मेरे आदमी ने बोले कि रख ले। खुश थे मेरे आदमी लड़की से, पर मेरे सास ससुर खुश नहीं थे। मेरे सास ससुर ने कहा सफाई करवा ले, मैंने मना करा। तो मुझे उन्होंने धमकी दिया कि सफाई नहीं करवाएगी तुझे हम छुटवा देंगे, अपने लड़के की हम दूसरी शादी कर देंगे। मजबूरन मुझे सफाई करवानी पड़ी है।
These are words from an old folk song from Uttar Pradesh, a song in which a devotee says, "Oh God, I beg of you, I touch your feet time and again. Next birth, don't give me a daughter, give me hell instead." The song may be old, but the sentiment resonates even today, not only in Uttar Pradesh, but in the entire country. The states that are greatest hit by the gender bias are Punjab and Haryana. Bachelors there are now looking beyond the borders of their states, their culture, their caste and social grouping to look for brides. This has given a rise to the trafficking of women. Parents are now selling off their daughters to these desperate men. These women are forced to adapt to an alien culture with a different language, diet and social norms, and are often treated as second-class citizens by the community, who view their value based on their ability to produce male offspring. Abduction of girls is another associated phenomenon of gender discrimination. Young girls from Assam and West Bengal are kidnapped and sold into marriage in Haryana and Punjab. Another strange and heinous phenomenon that has become the legacy of gender imbalance in Haryana is bride bartering. Desperation for brides has led to little girls being bartered away. This phenomenon came to light recently when a case from a village in Haryana's Fatehabad district was reported. Kamla's mother fixed her marriage to a man in a nearby village. This was in exchange to this man's sister getting married to Kamla's mama or maternal uncle. Unlike a meek little village girl, Kamla raised her voice against this act of bartering.
मुझे ये अच्छा नहीं लगा जहाँ औरतों की अदली बदली होती है। मैंने अपने पापा से भी कह दिया था कि मैं इस घर में नहीं जाऊँगी। अब मेरी माँ ने शादी करने के बाद मेरा सौदा किया। मुझे ये बिल्कुल पसंद नहीं।
She was supported by her father, who decided to go against his wife's wishes.
मेरी बीवी ने मिलकर परिवार वालों के साथ ये साजिश रची कि यहाँ से एक लड़की जाए, वहाँ से एक लड़की आए, जिन्हें इसका मतलब कि अदला बदली होगी। मुझे जब इस बात का पता चला तो बहुत बुरा लगा। तो जब मेरी बेटी को पता चला तो मेरी बेटी ने बिल्कुल शादी के लिए ना कर दिया। तो इसलिए मैं वो शादी होने नहीं दी।
Kamla was lucky. Her father had a conscience that saved her. But this is not always the case. The greatest implication, however, is on the demographics of the country. In urban areas, though fertility is declining rapidly, the preference for male children remains strong. For these families, modern medical technologies are within easy reach. Thus, selective abortion and sex selection are an easy choice. On the other hand, in rural areas, as the number of marriageable women declines, men tend to marry younger women, leading to a rise in fertility rates and thus a high rate of population growth.
India from centuries has never welcomed the birth of a daughter, as is evident from the blessings of many rishis. Ashta Putra Sobhagyavati Bhava, be the mother of 8 sons. They never said 4 sons and 4 daughters. Indian culture is such that woman is treated either as a goddess or as an object, pretentiously as a goddess, but actually as an object. India has tolerated female feticide for centuries, either as sati, where the woman had to take to the funeral pyre after the death of her husband, and now as homicide, which is being practiced in many states across the nation. Today, India is seeing genocide of such a large proportion that civilized humanity would not have seen for millions of years. The only reason why it does not cause outrage or shock is because it is feticide and not infanticide.
India is not the only country that is reeling from the effects of this catastrophe. Female feticide and infanticide is a phenomenon that is afflicting the entire South and East Asia. According to Chinese estimates, by 2020, there are likely to be 40 million unmarried young men in the country. These men are called guang or bare branches in China, with no women to knit the fabric of the society. This is inevitable. The killing of the fetus is the worst crime possible. Our scriptures have portrayed the fetus as a person, just like a baby, a woman or an adult. The religious stories through the ages maintain that a fetus has the ability to listen to and understand conversations that originate outside its milieu but within its hearing. It can learn, retain and put into practice in its postnatal life what it has heard while in the womb.
मेरे पास कई लोग आते हैं और पूछते हैं कि हमारे पंडित जी कोई ऐसा उपाय बताओ, कोई ऐसा पत्री में देख के उपाय बताओ कि हमारी बहू के पुत्र हो जाए। तो वहाँ पर क्या है कि जो प्राणी पुत्र की कामना करता है, जो कन्या से पता नहीं क्यों डरता है, उसके मन में पता नहीं किसने भय बैठा दिया या क्या कुछ कर दिया, तो वहाँ पर क्या है कि मैं समझता हूँ, शास्त्र भी ये समझते हैं कि उस प्राणी को शास्त्रों का, अपने धर्म का, अपने समाज का पूरा ज्ञान नहीं है, क्योंकि ये सारे सब कुछ मिला के ये हमारी सोसाइटी, ये हमारा समाज, ये हमारा परिवार जब तक कन्या नहीं आएगी घर के अंदर, जब तक पूरा नहीं होगा। और जब कोई चीज़ पूरक होती है तो ही प्राणी जीवन में अपने संसार को, अपने परिवार को, अपने घर को सुचारू रूप से चला सकता है।
Many stringent laws have been passed to control this meanness, but these are flouted flagrantly. In 1994, the Government of India passed the Preconception and Prenatal Diagnostic Techniques Prohibition of Sex Selection Act with the aim of preventing this evil. This was amended and replaced in 2002 by the Prenatal Diagnostic Techniques Regulation and Prevention of Misuse Act. According to this law, before conducting any prenatal diagnostic procedure, the medical practitioner must obtain a written consent from the pregnant woman in a local language that she understands. Prenatal tests may be performed in various specified circumstances, including risk of chromosomal abnormalities in the case of women over 35 and genetic diseases evident in the family history of the couple. Though these acts have been passed, awareness regarding them is very poor. According to a survey of patient attitudes, only 40% of male patients and 30% of female patients were aware of the prohibition of sex determination. While 90% agree with the principle of this act, they still reiterate the importance of having a son over a daughter.
We have a lot of mental cobwebs from our religious sects and religious scriptures and religious thoughts and myths that we need a boy for our moksha, for our shraddh and for our this and that and for inheriting the property also. So what I understand is the whole problem is with the rights of the women and the perpetuation of the private property. If we have the equal rights of the women in the matrimonial property or in the property itself, then this problem may go from our society.
The statistics tell their own story. Nearly 10 million female fetuses have been aborted in the country over the past 2 decades. India's female ratio between 0 to 6 years age group has fallen to 896 females per 1,000 males, the lowest ever in a decade for the world's second most populous nation. About 3/4 of the women in the suburban area know about the sex determination test, and female feticide is favored both in rural and urban areas. Of the 12 million girls born in India, 1 million do not see their first birthday. 7,000 fewer girls are born in India each day than the global average would suggest. I want to live free. I want to soar in the open blue skies. I want to be born. This is the voice of a girl child. This is the voice that wants to break free and be born and make its mark on this earth. So let us give this voice the chance that it deserves.
The very thought that ultrasonography should not be done, can this be imbibed into the culture? Can this very fact be taken for granted by the medical community, that if we do not do this, then the only link in this chain would be broken? Yes, it probably can. And we as public, we as social workers need to convey this both to the medical fraternity and to the public at large, that however much we train you, however much we educate you, however much the literacy level may rise, your basic mindsets have to change. Your mindset has to say yes to a daughter.
Tackling a problem that has been festering through the centuries is not an easy task, nor is it the task for the faint-hearted. It is the task for those who feel the pain of the murdered fetuses. The approach has to be multi-layered, scientific, rational and humanist. Let us collectively spread awareness, awaken the conscience and ultimately give birth to our daughters so that they can fulfill their destinies.
It's not only the job of the government. It's not only the job of the National Commission for Women. Every responsible citizen, every responsible intellectual, every educated person has go to the masses from village to village, tell them that these girls are not burden on you. They can prove better than your sons. They have also the equal rights as your sons are.
It is extremely important to empower women and strengthen women's rights through campaigning against practices such as dowry and ensuring strict implementation of existing legislation. There is a need for development of an easy access to good healthcare services, inculcating a strong ethical code of conduct among medical professionals, beginning with their training as undergraduates. Stringent punishment given to the offending medical practitioners. Methods of complaint registration to be made simple and accessible to the poorest of the poor and the most vulnerable of women. The greatest tool, however, of fighting this menace is through dissemination of information.
यहाँ रोजाना कितनी ही महिलाएं आती हैं लिंग परीक्षण के लिए। ये डिग्री मुझे जान बचाने के लिए मिली है, जान लेने के लिए नहीं। इसीलिए मैं लिंग परीक्षण नहीं करती।
There is great need for a sustained publicity campaign in the mass media.
India already has a good infrastructure of primary health centers, and these centers should be used to disseminate information to couples who visit the health centers for seeking prenatal sex determination. Couples should be counseled that aborting a female child today would not guarantee a male pregnancy next time. I feel we need to have a strong medical code of conduct, and stringent punishment should be given to doctors who indulge in such practices.
There has to be an equal partnership between the people, the government and the NGOs. There should also be regular assessment of indicators of status of women in society, such as sex ratio and female mortality, literacy and economic participation. This will help in monitoring the severity of the problem and policy formation. On one hand, we pray to the goddess Kali. On the other hand, we kill our daughters. The daughters who should be cherished, who should be revered, who should be loved.
Well, being a woman in a man's world is definitely a challenge, and I would appeal to every mother, every brother, father, husband, that we stand up and protect the girl child. Allow the little girls to be born, because the future of the world is in our hands, not in the male world. It's about time that we took up the challenge of saving the girl child, because that is our moral duty. Killing, what they call Brun Hatya or feticide, is really the most evil obsession that a parent has. It must stop. When the killing stops, we have a better, safer India.
The importance of the girl child can be summed up by these teachings of the Sikh Guru, Guru Nanak Dev Ji. From woman, man is born. Within woman, man is conceived. To woman, he is engaged and married. Women become his friend. When his woman die, he seeks another woman. To woman, he is bound. So why call her bad? From her, kings are born.